A Hawk is My Witness by Eady. He had put the last of the freshly cut pine on the woodpile when he felt the cold of the gun barrel press against the back of his neck. The voice behind, a low menacing purr, didn't sound immediately familiar when it said, "I found you, finally." On its breath came the stale smell of bad coffee and even badder intentions. The wind whistled through the pines that overlooked the sparse farmhouse that he thought would be his refuge, but it seems someone else had other plans. "Turn around slowly with your hands up," said the voice coldly. He obliged, raising his hands and turning in the pile of sawdust, some of which was still floating aimlessly in the winter air. The smell of sawdust was thick in the air. A hawk circled above as if interested in watching this scene unfurl before it. Recognition stung him as the face holding the gun was Avery Holden. His face under the black brim of his hat was as pale as death itself. Deep scar lines cut through his cheeks, the results of a fracas with a window some years ago. Avery was one of Miss Vanderwalden's most ardent bounty hunters, and he had found his bounty, this man on top of the mountain. "Miss Vanderwalden got tired of waiting for you to pay up, Mr. Stone." Holden licked at his chapped lips as he said this, his finger quivering over the trigger. Holden would want to bring him in alive. Holden had no qualms about injuries. He finally spoke, a smirk spread across his face. "Tell Miss Vanderwalden she's on a long list of people I gotta pay, and let's just say she's not at the top of the list." He spat into the dust, his hands still raised. Above in the pines, the hawk squalled loudly. Its cry echoed through the fog that shrouded the mountaintop. "When I take you to her, you can tell her your sob story yourself." Again, Holden ran his thick tongue over his dry lips. He laughed softly, cleared his throat. "If that's what you think is going to happen, that is exactly what I think is going to happen." Holden flicked the gun barrel to his right. "Start walking to my truck, now." "I ain't going anywhere, not with you, not with anyone." His hands were still raised, but his face screamed defiance. "And Miss Vanderwalden isn't going to miss my money. She's got plenty already. That's not your choice, Stone. And remember, I am the one with the gun." Holden punctuated that sentence with a wet cough. The cold mountain air had gotten to him. Mr. Stone laughed, a slow tumbling sound like rocks rolling down a cliff face. "It seems that you are." He slipped his fingers, steepled behind his head. He centered his gravity. "I guess my choice is made then." He heard Holden's feet crunch at the gravel as he stepped back to make room for him to pass. Holden wanted that barrel pressed to the back of his neck again. That's what gave him power. Holden flicked his wrist again, his eyes pure steel. "Move now." Mr. Stone began to walk, a slow, purposeless amble at first. The gravel drive sloped down next to the ramshackle hut he had called home for the last 5 years. He could see Holden's rusted truck parked at the bottom of the drive, encircled by mist. "It's now or never," he thought. "Time catches up to everyone," growled Holden. "Yes, it does." He looked up and saw the hawk push from the tree line. "It certainly does." A single gunshot rang out, repeated seemingly endlessly by the echo provided by the mountain above. The hawk, a silent witness, soared into the mist, carrying with it the secrets of the mountaintop.